What's good, y'all? Hope y'all doing well. Hope y'all feeling blessed. Today's topic is going to be something I talk about with clients all the time. There's a theme here. And I just think it's extremely important no matter the level that you're at, whether you're a novice, your first time in the gym, beginner, whatever you want to call it, to somebody that may be a professional athlete. They have super specific protocol and things that they need to knock out and do and be as efficient as possible. Everybody's efficient, everybody is human and on the same boat, but just different spectrums of what their priorities may be. But that topic or those things that they need to do or focus on are what I call my 5 pillars. No matter where you are on that spectrum, if you have a good rhythm and a good balance, if you will, to these 5 pillars, you're going to reach your desired goal. You're going to be different than when you started. Simple as that. So, in no order, the first one is limiting your stress, finding healthy outlets. Most people scoff at this one and laugh at this one, but it's real, especially as adults. Responsibilities piling up, a lot of people to take care of, a lot of things around the house, a lot of things with another family integrated into that, kids, all that. But finding healthy outlets, limiting your stress as best as possible. Being, slow to anger, slow to be frustrated, whatever that is, deep breathing, going for a walk, whatever the case is. That's the first one. Second one is going to be adequate sleep. So circadian rhythm, super important. Your body likes homeostasis. You're going to hear that theme throughout the rest of the video. It likes a certain equilibrium and staying at a certain pattern over and over again. So back to the circadian rhythms. If you are, consistently going to sleep at 12 a.m. one night, 9 p.m. another night, 2 a.m. the other night, your body is like, bro, what are you doing? And the same thing for the wake up. If you're waking up at 6 a.m. one morning, 9 a.m. the next morning, 11 a.m. the other morning, I get it. Monday through Friday, you're probably waking up at 6 or whatever the case is. You get to Saturday or Sunday, and now you're sleeping until 11. Your body doesn't really love that. So finding a way to consistently wake up at the same time, Monday through Sunday, like seriously. But adequate sleep for most people is going to be about 7-8 hours, sometimes 9. Some people can function on 5 or 6. Anything less than 5, there's just not much efficacy or research that's conducive. But we're all human and unique. So if it does work for you and you recover well, can't say anything. But like I said, adequate sleep. So limit stress, adequate sleep. Next is adequate hydration. For most people, it's probably gonna be anywhere, depending obviously your size, 60, 70 ounces upwards to like 100 to 120 ounces every day. Helping with circulation throughout your body, helping with your energy, helping with digestion, helping with metabolism, everything. On top of that, the necessary minerals, electrolytes that are needed to replenish your hydration throughout your body. So limiting stress, adequate sleep, adequate hydration. Next, adequate nutrition. Multifaceted, we're talking the proper calorie intake that's needed, whether in a surplus, deficit, maintenance, balance, whatever the case is, but having a good idea and framework for what you're consuming, the calorie intake or calorie count. Also with that, the macronutrients, your proteins, your carbs, your fats, having a good idea and basis for that as well. Not only that, but the eating timing of when you consume the food. Metabolism, once again, back to homeostasis, your body likes a certain time frame to eat certain meals. It also likes to be primed, for a workout, pre-workout, and then post-workout. Having these things in order or getting to a place where you do have these things in order is going to transcend your training. And then that's going to transcend the adaptation that you're looking to get. And you're going to see the goal that you may want to get or see a little bit quicker, the more efficient you are with that. And then the last one is physical activity. Physical activity is coupled with a whole bunch of things. If we're talking about just the guidelines for the US for adults, 150 minutes of moderate aerobic intensity activity, 75 minutes of vigorous aerobic intensity activity, 2+ strength training sessions a week. So that's just for general health, general fitness. Obviously for collegiate or professional athlete, it's going to be on a different spectrum. They're going to be way more active, but that's just the baseline. Mind you, that statistic that I just gave you, or the guidelines, 70% or more adults don't meet that. And I say physical activity in the sense of we automatically go to the gym. But even if you happen to get the 3, strength training sessions in a week, that's still only 3 hours out of 168 hours. But if you live a sedentary life outside of the gym and you have a sedentary job, you're still not meeting the physical activity guidelines. So being in a constant state of motion, like you stay in motion, you're gonna continue to burn fat, continue to increase the circulation throughout your body. You're just putting yourself in a space to where you're in a flow that's necessary to transfer into other facets of your life, and they all are loops and loop together. So those are the 5. Having a rhythm or balance to those 5, you're going to get to where you need to go. And the interesting part about it, yes, can some have certain sliders where, back to the rhythm part, where they're a little bit lower during certain phases of the year? Sure. But if we were looking at like the median of all 5, like you wouldn't want them outside of this portion of the graph. Like you don't want, one suffering, because back to the balance of the 5, if let's just shut off one of them, like completely not paying attention to it and don't care or cater to it. So finding a way to limit your stress, but the sleep is poor. You're getting like not even 3 hours a night. Okay, well, you may still be training. You may still be counting your calories and macros and things of that nature. You may still get a decent amount of hydration, but you're shooting yourself in the foot. You're making the process much harder. Your hormones are noticing and feeling it when you're at the gym. Testosterone obviously isn't going to be as high. Even if you may have your healthy outlets for stress, you're probably still going to be stressed and irritable because you're just not there mentally. You're going to be groggier. You're not going to have your cognitive function or be as sharp. So that's just one of the examples when we're talking about 1 out of the 5. If you feel like you're in a situation where you're at 0 out of the 5, that's okay. You're still breathing. You still have a chance to rectify that and change the situation. The first order of business, I would say, is don't go from here to here. Meaning if you're not training at all and you're trying to go to 4 or 5 sessions a week because you saw it on Instagram or you saw a favorite influencer say, go do this because this is what I do, that's not really going to be the sustainable, and it's not unique to you and your situation. You have to understand, what do you even have time to do? What do you even recover? How do you even recover? You go from 0 to 5 and now you're in an infirmary. Like that's not wise. So definitely don't want to go from 0 to hero. You have to find your balance to make incremental changes, and that's where you're going to see the growth. But back to the first point, or the first thing that you should take action, is track. Tracking is going to be your best friend. You're going to actually see, okay, over time, I can track these things. Yes, there's the tracking through a platform, tracking through a Google Sheet, whatever the case is, but there's even the other stuff a little bit outside of that without getting too advanced or too confusing. The ones that are more common for the tracking style of things are, hey, for the training, you're tracking the weights, you're tracking the increase in reps, you're tracking the distance that you travel or whatever you're jogging. That's the more known one. The other side of what you can track, anything like a 1 to 5 scale, is, hey, do I have more energy throughout the day? Do I feel like not only do I have more energy throughout the day, do I sustain it for the entire day? Do I not crash? Do I feel clearer in my thinking? That can all just be from the bucket of training. And then same for the other stuff, limiting my stress. Do I feel, slower to be angry or frustrated? Do I feel even lighter? Maybe feel super heavy. Same thing for hydration, or this one, hydration. Do I have, again, more energy? Do I feel like my digestion system is, benefiting from this? Again, do I feel like I have better circulation throughout my body because of this? All these things can be tracked. That would be the first step, is to track. Track, see where you are, take little baby steps, and figure out your way, your system that works for you and your unique situation that you're currently in, to then take off and reach whatever goal is your desire. That's all I got for today. Hope that made sense and was simplified. Definitely down the road, I'll maybe even go into specific videos, maybe bring out the whiteboard to go into each one to be able to really get specific, and then figure out how to tailor that to you based off of what I'm telling you in the general scope. But that's all I got. Appreciate y'all. Like, comment, subscribe. Hope y'all have a blessed day. Peace.